What's going on, guys? Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to trade in the stock market. Now, I'm just joking. I'm actually going to be talking about the future of Star Wars. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan like me, or if you heard around the buzz on the internet, you watched the investors meeting that was going on a couple days ago. And in this investor meeting, they were like, we have a bunch of these shows and movies that are coming out in the future of Star Wars. These are my thoughts on each show and project coming to Disney Plus and theaters. So first is a standalone movie, and that's going to turn into series, is Rafa and Trace in the Galaxy. I'm just joking, guys. I'm just making it funny. It's not true. We're actually going to be talking about a movie coming to theaters called Rogue Squadron. This movie is also directed by Patty Jenkins, which, if you don't know who she is, she directed the Wonder Woman movies that are one's coming out now and one's already been out, which personally love the Wonder Woman movie. Super excited to see Patty Jenkins' take on Star Wars. This also brings a lot of opportunity for awesome new characters that, are fighting for the Republic or the New Republic or the Rebellion, Resistance, whatever. I'm excited for it, and I know you guys are too. And it's also based off a beloved game I grew up on, Rogue Squadron. So I'm super excited to see what happens there. I believe it comes out around 2022, so we got some time before it comes out, but something to look forward to. Now, next, this was also confirmed, but it was reaffirmed in this investors meeting. Kathleen Kennedy reaffirms that Taika Waititi is working on the films of Star Wars and that it's going to be fresh. And obviously, if you've seen Taika Waititi films and know Taika Waititi, it's going to be a nice, energetic, funny, but very serious tone of Star Wars movies that I'm very excited to see. I don't really touch on anything else or the names of the movies or anything, so there's not really much to go on, but I'm just excited that Taika Waititi is involved and given more, creative leeway to do things in the Star Wars universe. Now we're to the project I am most excited about, the thing we've all been looking forward to all this time, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So according to Kathleen Kennedy, this takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And the series is directed by Deborah Chow, which Deborah Chow, she directed some episodes of The Mandalorian. And I think she did a fantastic job. And I've seen interviews with her on the round table with Jon Favreau and the other directors of the first season of The Mandalorian. And she's really into action sequences and stuff like that, but really committed to a story. So we're going to probably see some exciting fight scenes, some exciting battles, super, super exciting stuff. This is also a day that will be remembered forever. And I'm going to tell you my predictions of this show and my theories of how good it's going to do, but I just want you guys to hear this. Hayden Christensen, the man, the myth, the legend, who played Anakin Skywalker in Episode 2 and 3, will be reprising his role as Darth Vader. And Kathleen Kennedy said this after. This will be the rematch of the century. Now, if you're not fucking jumping out of your seat, excited, crying, whatever emotional, just emotional wreck. This is the best news that we could receive in 2020. 2020 is redeemed. Thank you, Disney, for doing this. I'm honestly such a Hayden Christensen fan. I think he got a bad rap back in the day. I think he portrayed Anakin the best to his ability, and I don't think anyone else could have done it better. And I'm telling you, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor is reprising his role, and Hayden's coming back as Anakin, Darth Vader. I'm just telling you, this show, and I actually saw Star Wars Theory make a comment on this. I think this show is going to break records, numbers than any other show ever. This is probably the most anticipated show of all time, in my opinion. It will be on the caliber of like a season 6 Game of Thrones. And I think it will over-succeed that, honestly. Plus, this opens up to a million possibilities. Because now we have a live-action Ahsoka played by Rosario Dawson. Which now we could have flashbacks with Hayden as Anakin and Ewan as Obi-Wan. And Ahsoka being in the Jedi Temple maybe an episode. Which, I mean, I would eternally die if we got that. My life would be complete. I'm okay with that. If I died right there and then, I would be happy and fulfilled. It would be fine. And I posted on this Instagram too, Ewan, he said this quote, like, out of all of this greatness, the most thing he's happy about is that he's working with Hayden again, which is so heartwarming. It's so cool to see that, at the end of the day, they were brothers and they really love each other in real life. They're really good friends, and it's cool to see that it's going to even be portrayed more on screen of how tragic the story of Anakin Skywalker is. So now we're going to talk about two shows, one that I kind of anticipated and the other's new and I'm really excited about, but both of these shows I'm about to talk about take place in the timeline of The Mandalorian. So one show that's coming out is an Ahsoka standalone show. Now, I'm going to make a video just on this show because you guys know my theories. I believe that the epilogue in Rebels is set during the time of The Mandalorian. So I believe that Ahsoka is the Rebels sequel, which I will make a video about this and delve more into it, but I really do think that the Rebels sequel is Ahsoka. It's also being produced by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, so you know it's going to be good, but you also know it's going to be connected some way to Rebels. And the next show coming out, same timeline as The Mandalorian, is called Rangers of the New Republic. And I kind of got this Top Gun feel. I don't think it's going to be like pilots and stuff. I think it's going to be like boots on the ground, you know, fighting for the New Republic. Probably going to be in the outskirts, maybe in the Outer Rim or the unknown regions, discovering, you know, the First Order and stuff like that. Maybe reconquering planets. I would love to see a planetary invasion by the New Republic. That would be epic. But I'm also very excited to see what happens in that show. It's very new. I'm loving this direction Star Wars is going. It's new and fresh. I love it. It's also being directed by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. And this part of the presentation got me really excited. And you guys, this is probably, what I'm about to tell you, is probably the most anticipated thing that you guys need to pay attention to and look forward to, because it will be epic. A direct quote from Kathleen Kennedy. These shows that are directed by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau will intersect with future stories and culminate into a cinematic story event. So you guys have seen the shows like, you know, these small indie projects like The Avengers. Yeah, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something like Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, where all of these great characters come together to fight an enemy. And I think in that future, that enemy will be Grand Admiral Thrawn. And it will be epic. And the showdown will be fucking fantastic. Now we're moving on to two things I knew were going to come out, because actually, before this, there was a bunch of rumors confirming this. But now it's finally confirmed. We're getting a Lando series. It's going to be a new series on Disney+. I don't know what direction they're going to go with this. I think it's going to be after Solo, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. Also, we got a scissor reel of this next project. It's going to be a movie, Andor. It's about Cassian Andor and kind of the rebel spy ring. Now, I've never talked about Rogue One on this channel, but Rogue One to me is one of the best Star Wars films ever made. And the first scene in Rogue One, to where Cassian is, you know, where Cassian kills that guy because he couldn't escape and he could release information that could hurt the rebellion. I would love to dive into this spy thriller to where how the rebels got all this information to eventually get the information that the plans of the Death Star, you know, the Bothians. This is also being filmed by the guy who did the Jason Bourne series, which if you don't know who, it's Jason Bourne. If you don't know who Jason Bourne is, he's basically the best spy in the world, and those are probably arguably one of the best spy movies ever created. So if anyone was going to do a Star Wars like spy thriller, it would be him. Now I'm going to cover Star Wars The Bad Batch a little bit, but you guys have already really seen my reaction. The reception of that video is awesome. Thank you guys for that. But I'm excited to see what happens. You know, I broke it down a little bit and I saw, you know, that obviously where the story is going to go is that they're going to break away from Order 66, because I don't think, honestly, that they have the chip in them because they're that, like, deformed and stuff. I believe Echo's chip might have not worked. Or maybe they'll go in such a sinister direction to where they actually hunt down Jedi and kill them, which would be kind of cool to see. I know it's terrible, but it would be kind of interesting. But I really think that they're going to come away from the Empire, and my bold prediction is that Commander Cody is going to be chasing them down. We also might see Ahsoka in it, Captain Rex, and see what he's up to. Maybe this will tie into how we got Wolf and Gregor in Rebels and they removed their chips, which I would love to see. I also find it interesting that they're going to do it this way, because I really want to know the effects of after Order 66 with the clones. Do they just go back to normal after Order 66 and realize what they've done and like regret it? Or do they stay in that kind of sinister mode of like kill the Jedi and I hate all of this and la-di-la-di-da? But I hope to think that they have some sort of remorse to me, because that's why I feel like a lot of these clones are going to defect. Maybe they'll experience kind of like the Kaminoan Civil War that was in Battlefront 2, which would be, I mean, epic. I know they lose it, but it would be fucking cool to see. Clones versus the Empire in the Clone Wars, I mean, come on. Now we're gonna move on to a project I'm excited about. It's called Star Wars Visions. It's basically an anime Star Wars, which is so cool. I'm a recently found anime lover. I like SAO. I know that kind of, you either like SAO or you don't, but I freaking love SAO. I also love Attack on Titan. The new season recently came out. So damn good. So I'm excited to see all these, you know, Japanese animators work on a Star Wars project. It's going to be awesome. Each episode is not going to be connected to each other. They're all going to be like singular episodes in their own story, which is kind of cool. Which if you've seen something like Love, Death, Robots, which is one of my favorite shows ever, they're just random animation, different styles, and they all are kind of different. And they're not connected in the story. And last but not least, we have a project called A Droid Story. I'm going to read directly what they said about it because I really don't know much about it. Lucasfilm continues to develop new stories. The intersections of animation and visual effects offers new opportunities to explore. They basically later say that it's going to introduce a new hero into the Star Wars universe, being led by R2-D2 and C-3PO. Now, I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm obviously going to watch it when it comes out, but I don't really know what it's going to be about or what's happening, so I'm an open book to it, so let's see what happens. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thanks for watching. All my social links are in the description of this video. May the Force be with you, always.